The humans arrived smiling. Not grinning, smiling. The kind of smile you give before borrowing a stapler. Or vaporizing someone's fleet. High Chieftain Jarlock watched the warship descend with the same disdain he reserved for soggy meat and unrequested diplomacy. The alien council had gathered atop the sky balcony of Zarnathi Prime, a floating marvel of glass and grav plates suspended 5 kilometers above the surface. A symbol of power, pride, and paranoia. Then the human ship landed, silent, matte black, shaped like a hunting spear. Not a single visible weapon port, which meant everything was hidden. Why does it look like a coffin? Minister Quiv, the council's resident scholar blob, gurgled nervously. His gelatinous frame pulsed blue, with unease. Ambassador Rel, the tall, soft-spoken telepath of the Ellerin, narrowed her silver eyes. Because it is. Just not theirs. The ship's ramp hissed open with theatrical precision. A single human stepped out. Captain Ava Riker was unarmed, unarmored, and smiling like she'd just walked into a small-town bake sale. Short-cropped hair, flawless posture, crisp charcoal gray uniform with no insignia except a gold pin shaped like a spiral. "Permission to approach?" she called out sweetly, clutching a thermal carafe in one hand and a tray in the other. "She brought food?" Jarlock growled. "Brownies," Ava replied brightly. "And coffee. We weren't sure what you drink, but we figured caffeine is pretty universal." The silence was only broken by the soft clink of her boots on glass as she walked straight into the council's midst. "I'm Captain Riker of the Terran Concord. First of my name, third of her class. Diplomatic liaison. If that sounds threatening, it's not." She smiled again. "Not yet." No one moved. Riker set the tray on a lev table without asking, poured a cup of coffee, and took a sip. Strong. Like earth. "And this table. Are you mocking us?" Jarlock said, eyes narrowing. "Only if you laugh," she replied. "Otherwise, I'm being sincere." Rel spoke into the collective mind link. Asterisk, she's cloaked. Not visually, psychically. I can't read her. There's something behind her smile. Something patient. Asterisk. Quiv leaned forward. "Captain Riker, may we ask about your ship? It appears minimal." "Oh, it is. 1 pilot, 1 engineer, 3 war algorithms, and an espresso machine that occasionally tries to unionize." She gestured vaguely behind her. "Small footprint, large punch." Jarlock snorted. "Why send a diplomat on a warship?" "Because we've learned the hard way. It's better to negotiate from higher ground." She took another sip, then looked out over the balcony's edge at the planet's lush cities below. "Lovely place. Organized. Symmetrical. Reminds me of a chessboard." "We don't play that game," Jarlock said. "Oh, don't worry," Ava said, setting her cup down. "We're playing it for you." The room shifted. Not physically, something in the tone, the air, the temperature of expectation dropped by a few degrees. "Let's talk peace," Ava continued, as if she hadn't just dropped a conversational landmine. "We reviewed your treaties. Lovely writing. Almost poetic. And utterly unenforceable." "You have no standing to critique our legal," Quiv began. "Oh, I'm not critiquing," she interrupted smoothly. "I'm observing. And offering reinforcement." "You mean enforcement." "I mean what I said." She picked up a brownie, broke it in half, and handed it to Quiv, who accepted it with the uncertainty of someone holding a grenade. Jarlock stepped forward, towering over her. "You speak of peace with a predator's poise." Riker looked up, unflinching. "Predator? No. We're beyond that. Predators are impulsive. We're planners. There's a difference." "Why are you really here?" Rel asked softly, breaking the silence. Riker's eyes flicked to her. The smile never faded, but her gaze shifted, just for a second, like something ancient peered out from behind polite curtains. "We came because your quadrant is unstable. Your leadership is fractured. Your military, while vast, is uncoordinated. You've had 14 major conflicts in the last 30 standard cycles. That's inefficient. You want to fix the galaxy?" Jarlock mocked. "No," Riker said, We want to live in it without ducking plasma fire every 3 parsecs. So we're offering assistance. Guidance. You can call it civilization. You expect us to kneel? I expect you to stand. But straighter. With purpose. Under supervision. Jarlock growled, stepping back. Your arrogance would be offensive if it weren't so small. Funny thing about humans, Ava said gently. We often look small, right up until we don't. Rel's voice rang inside their heads again. Asterisk, her mind is shielded. Cold. Not cruel, calculated. Asterisk. A servant drone zipped over, refilling Ava's coffee. She thanked it with a smile, then looked around the circle of wary alien leaders. Let's not do the dance, she said. You're worried we're here to conquer. We're not. That's too messy. Too obvious. We're here to offer something. And if we refuse? Jarlock asked. Ava tilted her head. Then we respect your decision. Truly? She shrugged. Of course. Refusing is your right. So is the natural consequence of vulnerability. Quiv paled a shade. Consequences. She leaned in, voice soft as smoke. Nature abhors a vacuum. So does strategy. No threats. No raised voice. But suddenly, everyone on the balcony understood. The Terran Concord didn't conquer by force. They waited, smiled, brought gifts, then occupied by invitation. This was not diplomacy, Rel thought. It was assimilation politely offered. Ava stood. Thank you for the brownies, I mean the audience. I'll be here for 3 more planetary rotations. If you wish to discuss trade routes, defense optimization, or cultural exchange, I'll be in orbit. She turned, paused, and looked back over her shoulder. Oh, and someone tell your AI security core that open port in subroutine K14? Might want to patch it before someone less friendly finds it. Then she walked away. No weapons fired. No threats made. But every alien heart on that balcony knew one thing. The humans hadn't come to fight. They had come to win. And they already were.
It began with the Roomba, a small, circular Earth-made cleaning drone, gifted to the Zarnathi Hall of Archives during the Cultural Exchange Hour. It had been programmed to roam aimlessly, vacuuming centuries-old marble corridors with cheerful beeps and an unsettling ability to avoid both walls and uncomfortable conversations. No one thought much of it, until it began mapping floor plans and humming a tune none of the alien translation units could decipher. The only words the Roomba spoke were, "Cleaning debris. Please clear the path." Except, Zarnathi marble didn't shed dust. High Chieftain Jarlock sat fuming inside his private strategy chamber, tail twitching. The walls were lined with war relics, trophies from conquests long before humans had figured out how to boil water without setting something on fire. He jabbed a claw into the holographic table in front of him. "What is their play?" Minister Quiv oozed into the seat beside him, rippling with stress. "They've given us gifts, advice, architectural suggestions. They corrected our missile math." "They corrected our math?" "Yes." Quietly. And with a smile. "Then offered us chewing gum." Jarlock growled. "This is not warfare. It's infestation." Quiv hesitated. "They also donated a copy of a book called The Art of War. Annotated." "By whom?" Quiv blinked. "A 6-year-old. Meanwhile, Captain Ava Riker toured the outer defense grid of Zarnathi Prime. She was escorted by 2 armed guards and an exceptionally nervous docent named Velric, who looked like an overgrown lizard with the voice of a sleep-deprived professor. "This is our perimeter cannon array," Velric said. "Fully automated. 60 megaton range. Twin fusion cores. Untouched by enemy hands since the Obsidian Uprising." "Impressive," Ava replied, running a hand along the silver rail. "Though I noticed your targeting AI still uses predictive patterning instead of reactive syncopation." Velric blinked. That's classified." Ava smiled. "Oh. Then you should really fix that firewall breach in Node Cluster 7. Someone might see it. The guards looked at each other. Velric swallowed. Up in orbit, Ava's ship, Diplomatic Immunity, hovered in a stationary drift. Inside, her onboard AI, Penelope, was mid-monologue with no one in particular. Observation Log 28, the Zarnathi eat like victors but negotiate like interns. I've seen Terran interns scarier than their high command. She paused to watch the Roomba's live feed. Also, we've mapped the entire palace. Thanks to a vacuum cleaner. Who names a war-resistant empire and can't secure floor plans? Ava's voice came through her comms. Let them keep guessing. Any pushback? Rel suspects something. She tried probing me. Psychically. I quoted Shakespeare until she gave up. Which one? Macbeth. The murder parts. Perfect. Keep smiling. On the third night, during the council's formal banquet, Ava sat between Jarlock and Rel at a long obsidian table under artificial starlight. Dozens of alien dignitaries from across the Accord had gathered. Drones floated above, recording everything. The food was unfamiliar, grilled synthetics, gelatin cubes, and something Ava swore blinked at her. She smiled anyway. Delicious. Reminds me of childhood. Rel, quiet as always, turned her eyes on Ava. You hide things. Ava didn't deny it. So do you. You just call it diplomacy. Jarlock cut in. Why does your kind come dressed in civility, then whisper war beneath your breath? We don't whisper, Ava replied. We speak plainly. You just assume we're joking. She raised her glass. To peace, paranoia, and planetary-scale miscommunication. Polite chuckles rippled. Rel didn't laugh. Later that night, in the secure wing of the Hall of Observations, Minister Quiv nervously replayed human surveillance footage on a circular holoscreen. The images were inconsistent. In one, human colonists on the ice world of Ganymede wrestled genetically modified wolves for sport. In another, they taught a hostile aquatic species how to play poker, then beat them at it with a straight face and zero tells. Quiv turned to his assistant. They're not just adaptable. They expect chaos. They plan for it like we plan for ceremony. The assistant looked terrified. They breed with everything. Did you see the footage from Centauri Delta? Yes, Quiv muttered. And the fact that the Centaurians liked it only makes things worse. The next morning, an emergency session of the Zarnathi High Council was called. 10 species. One agenda, human containment. Jarlock spoke first. They're not invading with weapons. They're infecting the system. Charisma, technology, snacks. They offer you peace and install updates in your mainframe. Quiv nodded. One of their brownies had nanites. Delicious, but also mildly invasive. Ambassador Rel stepped forward. It's not just manipulation. It's restraint. They could have broken our systems by now. They didn't. Because they want submission, Jarlock growled. No, Rel said. Because they want us to offer it. Back aboard Diplomatic Immunity, Ava removed her jacket and leaned against the viewport, watching Zarnathi's twin suns rise. Penelope chimed in. Council's panicking. You're 10 hours ahead of schedule. Shall I prep a statement? Ava smirked. No. Let them stew. Then I'll invite them up for tea. Charming. Terrifying, Ava corrected. Charmingly terrifying. She sipped her coffee. We gave them 3 things, caffeine, kindness, and confusion. That's the Trinity. And the trap? Ava smiled. Already set. The Zarnathi Defense Corps stood like a monument to arrogance, spirals of polished obsidian, humming with layers of shielded quantum processors and centuries-old paranoia. No one got in without a triple-coded genome scan and a clearance badge forged in the fires of bureaucratic hell. Captain Ava Riker walked in with a thermos and a compliment. The guards let her through. "This is tight," she said, eyeing the walls as she followed her escort, a hulking insectoid named Commander Frav. "You use gravitronic compression for internal structure support, don't you?" Frav clicked once, uneasily. "Classified." "Of course. Just an educated guess. We used to use something similar back on Earth. Then it collapsed during a chilly cook-off. Long story." She smiled. Frav did not. They arrived at the core's heart, a circular chamber lit by a pulsating crystal matrix. The primary interface towered at the center, tall, faceless, and humming with the rhythm of a nervous galaxy. Around it, a dozen technicians glanced up as Ava approached, pretending not to. "Beautiful architecture," she said, stepping closer. "But your redundancy systems are exposed. I assume that's intentional?" Frav's mandibles twitched. "It is not." "Oh. Then never mind." She set the thermos on a side console, pulled a data slate from her coat, and handed it over. "Blueprint corrections. Just a few things we noticed during the tour." "Don't thank me." "That'd be awkward." Frav stared at her. "You scan our systems?" Ava blinked. "Scanned? No. I listened." She tapped her temple. "Auditory pattern matching. Picked up harmonic discrepancies. I used to do audio engineering before I switched to international problem solving." Frav didn't speak. He stepped away, silently signaling the technicians to review the data. Back on the surface, Ambassador Rel paced her quarters. Walls of rippling glass flickered with ambient starlight, doing little to soothe her spiraling thoughts. She reached out, telepathically, searching again for Ava Riker's presence. But the woman was always fog. No clear mind print. No psychic texture. Just polite static. That wasn't normal. Not even elite tacticians had shields that dense. She turned to her aide. "Schedule a private audience. No observers. No translators. No brownies." Later that cycle, Ava entered the garden chamber where Rel waited, an indoor sanctuary of bioluminescent vines, engineered silence, and floating stones designed to inspire trust. Ava tilted her head. "Nice vibe. You meditate here, or just stage interventions?" "I needed clarity," Rel said. "You aren't what you pretend to be." "I never pretended to be anything," Ava replied, settling onto a low bench. "You assumed." I smiled. Rel leaned forward. "Why are you really here?" Ava's tone dropped slightly, still polite but stripped of charm. "To assess risk. Your species is clever, restless, and enjoys posturing with plasma. That's a dangerous combination. You believe we're a threat?" "No," Ava said. "I believe you're unstable. Threats can be reasoned with. Chaos has to be managed." Rel's voice softened. "So you manage with smiles and brownies?" Ava's eyes sharpened. "We learned long ago that kindness disarms faster than weapons. But make no mistake, there's steel beneath the frosting." Rel sat back, breathing in the silence. "You've hacked something, haven't you?" Ava didn't answer. Instead, she asked, "Do you know what happens when a single node in your defense core receives a foreign command pulse?" Rel blinked. "You didn't." "I didn't fire anything," Ava said calmly. "I listened, I observed, and then I made suggestions. You've compromised our defense systems. I've improved them. Technically, you owe me a thank you. Rel's silence wasn't fear. It was calculation. You want leverage. I already have it, Ava said. I just haven't used it. That's the difference between a war and a warning. In orbit, Penelope was busy. Inside diplomatic immunity, lines of code danced across her displays as she fine-tuned her grip on Zarnathi's satellite array. Not to control, just to see. Every military transmission, every logistics manifest, every coded burst from the deep core. She cataloged them like recipes. Note: Zarnathi orbital defense pattern repeats every 4 hours. Recommends scrambling their algorithm with a random update patch. Rename it Security Enhancement 7.3. They'll download it willingly. She paused, then activated a secure channel. Captain, want me to play the audio file yet? Ava's voice came through. Not yet. Let them think they're choosing peace. Ah. Psychological warfare with etiquette. My favorite genre. That evening, a quiet panic spread through the Zarnathi Council. The reports were subtle but disturbing: core processes behaving oddly, targeting systems running silent diagnostics, AI voice logs echoing phrases never programmed. In one report, a technician swore he heard a whisper in his headset that simply said, "Checkmate." Jarlock slammed his claws on the council table. She's inside our systems. She's inside our walls. Quiv, usually composed, was pale and silent. The thermos was a data key. The Roomba was mapping corridors. The brownies carried nanosensors. Rel spoke last. And we welcomed it all. Because she smiled. Later that night, Ava stood alone in the highest spire of her ship, watching the stars. Penelope's voice came through the quiet. They've convened. Emergency session. Jarlock wants you arrested. Rel voted to delay. Ava didn't respond right away. Then, and the Council's war protocol? Still tied to a manual override. One password locks their entire fleet. And? They typed it 3 hours ago. I caught it. It was. Glory to Zarnath. Ava laughed once, dry and low. Predictable. Shall I disable the launch systems? No. Let them try. Let them realize it fails. Then I'll talk. That's cruel. No, Ava said. It's strategy. We don't shoot first. We watch, wait, and when they blink, we smile. She took a breath, eyes fixed on the planet below. Tomorrow, I give them a choice. The broadcast began with a coffee mug. A simple white ceramic thing, printed with * World's Okayest Ambassador. *. It hovered on the podium beside Captain Ava Riker as she stepped into frame. Behind her, the viewport of diplomatic immunity revealed the vast crescent of Zarnathi Prime, glowing beneath twin suns like a jewel balanced on the edge of a blade. She didn't wear armor. No medals. Just her uniform, tailored and neat, her presence steady as gravity. Her voice came softly. Hello, neighbors. I'm Captain Ava Riker of the Terran Concord. Thank you for the brownies. There was a pause. Then, we've been watching. Across the galaxy, millions of species tuned in. Some by accident. Most by panic. The stream was untraceable, unstoppable, broadcast through every major relay hub. Even the Backwire ice colony of Threx 9 received it, on an old karaoke screen. We've noticed things, Ava continued, hands folded politely. Border skirmishes. Trade violations. Biological weapon leaks you claimed were * seasonal sniffles. *. She gave the briefest smile. Not warm. Not cruel. Just there. You've called yourselves a unified accord. You are not. You are factions with shared fonts. Jarlock snarled at the screen from the council chamber. Rill sat frozen. Quiv had stopped blinking. And yet, you've built monuments. Fleets. Institutions. Pretty ones. Expensive. Unstable. The image behind Ava shifted to a slow montage of war zones, orbital strikes, collapsing domes, cities burning under the banners of peacekeeping coalitions. We, humans, watched this. And we wondered, why is there no one in charge? Her eyes met the camera. Billions of beings flinched. Then we remembered what happens when no one's in charge. Earth's history flashed behind her, briefly, brutally. Trenches. Nukes. Skulls. Silence. We're not here to repeat the mistakes of others. We're here to prevent yours. Inside the Zarnathi Hall of Judgment, chaos bloomed. He's calling for war. Jarlock roared, pounding the council table. We must retaliate. With what? Rill snapped. We're blind. They've turned our eyes inward. They're bluffing. They don't bluff, Quiv said quietly. They smile. Back aboard diplomatic immunity, Ava continued. I understand this might feel like coercion. It's not. A pause. Deliberate. This is clarity. Behind her, the screen changed again. Tactical overlays. Fleet routes. Internal memos. Surveillance feeds from inside Zarnathi Capo. Your systems are porous. You trust firewalls more than instincts. The screen zoomed in Minister Quiv's lab. Private notes. Untouched files. Read, timestamped, and commented in Terran Standard. They're very well organized, Penelope's voice added dryly from off-screen. Ava smiled faintly. We've made improvements. The Council sent a fleet into orbit. 3 destroyers. 12 interceptors. 1 command carrier. They never reached the upper atmosphere. Their engines shut down mid-burn, gravity clamps locking on mid-ascent. A single message flashed across all ships. Asterisk, stand by for maintenance. Asterisk. The ships hovered in silence, powerless but undamaged. We didn't fire a single shot, Ava said. We could have. But we didn't. She leaned in, just slightly. Because we aren't here to conquer. That's old thinking. We're here to stabilize. A new symbol appeared behind her, 3 lines in a spiral, the insignia of the Terran Concord. From this day forward, the Concord will offer protection, structure, and oversight to unstable zones. Participation is highly recommended. She raised her mug in a mock toast. Think of us as an immune system. If you're healthy, you'll never see us again. Then her tone shifted, subtly, surgically. But if you're contagious, well, we've brought gloves. The Zarnathi Council convened in silence. Rill broke it. We surrender. Jarlock's jaw snapped. You what? We surrender, she repeated. Before we lose everything. You coward. No, Quiv said slowly. She's sane. We've already lost. They looked out the window. Above them, diplomatic immunity hovered, calm and casual. Around it, satellites once Zarnathi now pulsed with Terran command signals. Every comm line was theirs. Every fleet system was read-only. Jarlock slumped into his seat. They didn't invade us. They solved us. Later that day, Captain Ava Riker stood once again on the sky balcony, where she had first arrived, thermos in hand. This time, no guards blocked her path. No smiles greeted her. She approached the council and set down a new tray. Tea. The Non-Aggression Compliance Pact, she said, handing over a slim black case. Sign it, and you'll retain autonomy. And if we don't? Jarlock asked bitterly. Ava gave a polite shrug. Then we'll be back next week. With a full delegation. And more coffee. Quiv opened the case. A single page, 10 sentences long. Simple. Elegant. Binding. He signed first. Rill followed. Jarlock hesitated, then growled his signature into the digital parchment. Ava closed the case. Excellent. We'll begin restructuring tomorrow. Let's make this painless. Hours later, aboard her ship, Ava removed her coat and dropped into her chair. Penelope's voice broke the quiet. You crushed them with charm. I'm proud. They crushed themselves, Ava said. We just let them see it. You're being poetic again. I'm tired. We've already received 14 petitions from neighboring systems. They want to join preemptively. Of course they do. Fear is efficient. Ready for the next? Ava stared out at the stars. The next one still uses slavery, right? Yes. System tag, Moravian Reach. Dystopian. Violent. Rich in minerals. She nodded. Let's liberate them. Kindly. Music preference? Start with Sinatra. Then something louder.